Hey everyone! This week's how-to flute tutorial is on whistle tones. I'm really excited about this video. Obviously, I'm making a video on it, but mostly because whistle tones were the key thing to help me reset my embouchure when I was having a lot of embouchure troubles. So there was a point in my flute career where I was playing a lot and I had a lot of tension, and I just started to develop this like quiver in my top lip, and I was gripping all the time, and I just felt like I had no control even though I was trying to control everything. And so if you find that you are gripping, if you find that your muscles are shaking, your embouchure muscles are shaking when you're playing, a lot of times you have to undo a lot of unnecessary work that you've let creep into your playing. And whistle tones are a really great way to help reset your embouchure, to help center your sound, and to help bring awareness to any tension or struggles that you're having in regards to embouchure, in regards to your air speed and your air pressure. So, how do we create a whistle tone? Well, we need to make sure that our embouchure is really, really far forward. If we are gripping, if our top lip is really tight, the sound's not going to come out. We also need to make sure that our aperture hole, where the air is coming out of, is nice and tall. We need to make sure that our abdomen wall is really, really engaged, because if we have any sort of discrepancies or any sort of leniencies in our muscle contractions, then our air speed and our air pressure is going to get off balance, and we're not going to be able to get this whistle out. Personally, I like to start whistle tones on a high G. It's something that's really easy for me. I think it's best to do whistle tones in the upper octave. If you want to do them in the lower octave, you can. Just beware that you're likely to get some sort of a harmonic series out rather than the note itself. In order to play a whistle tone, you're going to bring your lips really far forward. You're going to make sure that your aperture hole is nice and tall. You're going to make sure that your abdomen muscles are nice and contracted so that your airstream can be super, super steady. If any of these things lapse or become off balance, you are going to hear that tone either shift in harmonic pitches, you're going to hear the sound waver, or it might not come out at all. Now, if I try and do that with my lips really, really tight, or even if I'm smiling a little bit, that whistle tone is not going to speak. And you can see that my lips are actually quivering a little bit, which is part of what that issue is having when I had this problem and I started incorporating whistle tones into my everyday warm-up. So you need to relax, you need to reset, and you need to come forward. It's more like that French ooh, 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 ooh. If we're too far back, it's not gonna work. So when I do a whistle tone, I actually like to bring my lips forward. And I use the breath attack to start the note. I never use my tongue. And this helps me learn to bring everything forward, and it helps make sure that my air is what is controlling the sound. So now, how do we practice whistle tones? Well, first things first, we're going to start on that higher octave. That's the most effective way that I have found. And I just want you to first find whatever note's comfortable for you. G is comfortable for me, but if A flat works, or A or even B flat is easier, just start on that note and work to find your whistle. And you may have noticed that the pitch was wavering a little bit. That was because my support, my abdominal wall, was not contracted in a consistent way to keep my airstream super steady. So whistle tones are a really great way to monitor that, because any sort of fluctuation that we have is going to come out in that whistle sound itself. Once you have found your whistle, then we're going to work on building consistency, and we're going to build our way all the way up to high C. So let's say we're starting on a G. What we're going to do is we're going to work on holding a G whistle as long as we can, focusing on keeping a consistent airstream, working towards not having any wavers in our sound. I like to start this by first bringing my lips forward and then immediately starting with my air. I do not use my tongue for this exercise. I allow my air to do all of the work. I always make sure that I go until I'm all the way out of air, so I'm forced to take that reflexive breath where everything just naturally opens for us without any tension. I personally like to do this without a metronome, so I don't feel like I'm racing with time. I'm just focusing on centering myself. So I'm going to do that as many times as I want until I feel comfortable. And I may do that 3 times, I may do it 5 times. It really just depends on the day and how I'm feeling and if it feels comfortable or if it's a struggle. If it's a struggle, I'm going to stay on G until it feels fairly natural. And then I'll work my way up to A flat, to A, B flat, B, all the way to high C. The whole purpose of this exercise is to focus on your sound, focus on your air, focus on your embouchure. If you want to incorporate this into your repertoire, it's a great technique to help make sure that you have the correct embouchure set for those really high notes, especially if you are having to play really, really soft. So in my first video, we talked about how we can incorporate harmonics into the Daphnis and Chloe excerpt. That's a great tool to help build the core of your sound and really beef up your sound in that register with that dynamic. If you find that you are having trouble keeping the sound soft while staying relaxed, adding a whistle tone to that high G sharp is a really great practice technique to help make you feel more grounded and more in control with the relaxed embouchure. I'm just going to play the opening scale of Daphnis and Chloe very slowly, and I'm going to go all the way up to the G sharp, but rather than playing the G sharp, I'm going to work towards playing just a whistle tone. And you'll notice my aperture hole had to get quite a bit taller in order for that whistle tone to come out, which means that I am too tense and too tight on that G sharp. So I'm going to try it again and see if I can stay open and forward. And that time there was less of a break in the sound. If you want to take it one step further, the beauty of this excerpt is that it's very compatible with whistle tones because of the register that it's written in. So you can play that entire melody on a whistle tone if you so choose. And you can keep going and so on and so forth. Hopefully, after you've practiced your whistle tones in whatever capacity, whether it just be with your warm-up or in regards to your repertoire and adding it in, you'll find that you have a lot more control over your sound. You have more control and awareness over what your embouchure is doing, over how it relates to your abdominal pressure, and how it relates to your air speed. The entire purpose of these whistle tones, again, is to help us feel more centered with our sound, to gain awareness, and to gain control over letting go. Hopefully you found this video engaging and exciting, but most importantly, hopefully you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, put them below. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Sammy Holloman Flute. Like my page on Facebook, Sammy Holloman Flute. And I will see you all in 2 weeks for another how-to flute tutorial. Thanks for watching.